Fuck, what do I do? Fuck, what do I do? Yo, I'm Gao the Arsonist. This is I Don't Know But I'm Trying. We're about to react to some album reviews. This project is called And They Mine for Our Bodies. It's a sequel to my project from 2022 called Our Bones Are Artifacts. You see what I did there, the run-on sentence. It's probably the most in-depth dive into this interconnected universe in my discography that I've dubbed the Sludgeverse. It's like an anthology, a collection of stories from this world. This was kind of like the first time any body of work of mine has kind of entered the public eye, just like beyond the Gao the Arsonist fan base bubble. And you know, for years I've kind of been like praying that one of the really annoying music nerd communities latches onto one of my projects. I feel like that allows some kind of like lasting longevity in the music industry. It's like a proof of concept, social proof, and just randomly, like the album of the year community kind of flocked towards And They Mine for Our Bodies. And yeah, we're gonna fucking read some reviews about it. Now I know how DJ Khaled felt listening to Igor. This album is mysterious. That's so fucking funny, bro. This is mysterious music.
Not no mysterious shit.
I'll take it.
You never hear it.
But the mixing. Ooh, the mixing. And then it's kind of like the shy like emoji with the little sweat bead. Yeah, I guess this is kind of like in conversation with a very common sentiment surrounding this album. And I remember seeing like someone comment like, I never knew something that sounds this shitty could sound so great. And that's not really a sentiment that bothers me, because that's kind of exactly what I was going for. I wanted this to be like the most gritty, grimy, buried in mud and filth kind of mixing experience, whereas from like a songwriting perspective, it's still accessible, it's still catchy, it's melodic, it gets stuck in your head like a parasite. And I think I achieved that kind of duality where it's like what the fuck am I listening to, and what the fuck am I listening to, you know what I mean? This one says, who cares about the mixing, dude? This is horrifying. Something about the adjective horrifying though, it's interesting because since I was a little kid, everything that I made in any like artistic capacity, other people would view it and be like, dude, this is fucking horrifying. This is fucked up. And I never understood, because that's not a goal. That's not like an active thought in my head when I'm making things ever. Like, I remember I made Bleed years ago, and this was supposed to be like danceable, like the first ever danceable Gao song. And to me it was. But when I fucking released it, I got a flood of comments being like, yo, this song gives me such severe anxiety. I was so confused. It doesn't matter what I do, people will describe what I do as horrifying and dark and twisted and fucked up. And I think at this point I'm just gonna embrace it. That pure Colombian shit. Thank you. I guess that's all I have to say. I've never partaken in the snow. I'm not a big skier, but thank you. Something I noticed about halfway through the project was that I already knew this guy. This man used to day after day promote through the videos and comics on TikTok, and I would get all of them all the time. However, back then I didn't really care, sadly. That means a lot to me. Like, as an independent artist, you know how debilitating it can feel to kind of like almost like pimp out your work online just so some people may stumble across it. But this is a fucking testament to putting yourself out there. Like, even if right now you're not going viral, getting like millions of views, you're curating your presence in the world. You're introducing yourself to people every day, and that image of you in people's minds, it doesn't go away. This guy remembers seeing my shitty TikToks, and when he organically found my music, it connected with him in a completely different way. This one simply says, unlistenable. I mean, you fucking listen to it, so that's categorically wrong. has to be one of the most haunting rap albums of the year. Gao is something so very few of his emo rap peers. Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate the compliment. But what about this project is emo rap? Like, I don't understand it. It's genuinely no offense to the emo rap community. Like, I enjoy a great deal of emo rap. I do. But that is not where my influences come from. And I don't think that's how this album manifests at all. This one says, I thought this was just gonna be average cloud rap because my friends kept talking about it, but holy shit, this is such a me album. You sound kind of insufferable, not gonna lie. Thank you for glazing this project. But being like, I thought this was gonna be a normie album because my friends liked it, but this is so me, so esoteric and unknowable. That's just like me. We're both the same brand of insufferable. Bro doesn't even need a mixing engineer. All he needs to do is put his mouse on the fucking volume slider and turn it to the right. The Vox are buried. They are. It's dirty, it's grimy, it's muddy. And I feel like the first listening experience is like you trying to make out these fragments of words that you don't understand. Like, it's a very alienating experience. It feels like suffocating. And it's when you press into the lyrics, it kind of like opens up this whole new dimension to the listening experience. It like opens up this entire world that was just beyond this veil. Oh, here's the one. It says, who knew an album that sounds like shit could sound so good? Oh wait, we had Scaring the Hose last year. Thank you. Like, I mean, uttering me in the same sentence as Danny Brown and JPEG Mafia, that really means a lot. Like, those are some of my philosophical heroes when it comes to creation. Like, two motherfuckers that just, you know, make whatever they want to make. And people just have to swallow it because their directorial voice is so strong. Yeah, thank you. We're here Scaring Hose 2025. This apparently took 3 years to put together, and to be fair, I can kind of sort of hear the effort despite how problematic it is. The mixing is tacky, sometimes non-existing. The emo-y vocals aren't very remarkable, and it lacks great hooks and honestly takes itself way too seriously. But simultaneously, every song is different, every instrumental is decorated to the brim, and Gao's vocal performance is consistently passionate. I'll take it. I'll take it. I mean, I have no issue with like this project not resonating with people. It's not going to be everyone's taste, and you know, that's by design. But I appreciate people who can, you know, separate their personal taste and still acknowledge that there was effort and passion and vision that went into the creation of this project. Emo-y vocals? What do you mean? Are my vocals emo-y? Okay, when they say emo-y, I think what you mean is whiny. Because I have very whiny vocals. Some interesting sounds here, as well as some probably interesting lyrics. The reason I frame it like that is because, my god, the mixing is so bad. I need the lyrics in front of me. There's some promise with this young fella. Thank you. Once I can hear what is being said, I can provide more interesting insight besides the music sounds demented and scary. I think a lot of this boils down to how people listen to music. Because even though I'm a lyricist at heart and I genuinely care about writing, when I'm listening to music, lyrics are never a part of that first, like, cognitive battle. Like, I'm not perceiving the lyric. Maybe even fucking years later, like some of my favorite songs, I don't know a single lyric. I think that's because the sonic experience is so prioritized when it comes to my relationship with music. Even when I'm writing lyrics, even though people will, you know, message me and be like, oh, how do you come up with these phrases, these words, these metaphors, blah, blah, blah. And what I 99% of the time start with is the sound, the sonics, right? It's how it feels in the mouth, how it sits on the ear, and then the words themselves follow. And because of that, when I was making And They Mine for Our Bodies, I knew I wanted to evoke, I wanted it to be emotionally resonant to the highest order, right? And the lyrics were a part of that, but it was the sound of the lyrics. And then after that, you discover what the lyrics are actually saying. And then that's a whole new emotional layer that you can delve into. You know what? I respect what Gao is trying to do here, but I truly feel like this isn't bringing anything new to the table. Everything from the beats to the lyrics to the voice just sounds super cheesy to me, to the point where it isn't enjoyable anymore. This just feels like another case of a talented artist spoiling their music with non-stop corniness. The dreaded corny label. For the most part, what corniness is sincerity and vulnerability. And sincerity and vulnerability that like isn't palatable to you. I think if you're doing anything, if you're trying at something, it's gonna come across as corny to someone. I'm running around in cosplay wearing like stupid masks and silly costumes that I make, making music about self-indulgent lore and dorky comic books. You can't take any of that and get anything other than corny if you don't just accept it for what it is. I'm not berating you at all. Like, different people have their limits when it comes to cringe. I just invite you to try to stretch your own, you know? To be cringe is to be free. Great experimental hip-hop record with pristine production and great energy throughout. And you gave it a 58 out of 100.
Damn.
Please explain that to me. The production on the bass and synthesizers are terrifyingly terrific, but moreover, the lyrics pale in comparison, sounding like it was written with no consideration of a plot.
Whoa.
However, there is a lot of potential with the sound, and I'm absolutely excited for Gao's future projects. What do you mean it was written with no consideration of a plot? There's a whole comic book series about the plot. Every single song is a plot. Okay, you could say that the lyrics are corny and trying too hard and confusing and too cryptic and whatever, blah blah blah. I'll take all of those fucking criticisms on the chin. But to say that there's no consideration for a plot is just like so obtuse to me. And maybe it's just that you're not aware of it, but like narrative was the one thing that I kept in mind while writing. I feel like Sludge Bath, the comic book series, and the album are explicitly connected, but they're complementary. I don't think you need one to fully appreciate the other. I don't think you're losing out on anything, right? Like, every song on this project can be taken on its own, out of the context of the project if you want to, and appreciated on its own two legs. I feel like all the information is there. If you want a narrative, you can fucking dig into it. This guy got big off of TikTok, and like, yeah, there's some complexity here, but this is basically just the sort of dog water sound I'd expect TikTok rap fans to like, but with more interesting lyrics. Okay, thanks. This album is so completely designed for 1-minute snippets that a full 43-minute dive just feels like a slog, even if there are some individual tracks I like. Okay, you've never been on TikTok. You must be from YouTube Shorts or something. Because who's sitting down listening to 1-minute long TikToks of indie artists on that app? It's just not happening. 2, you're thinking this sounds like a fucking TikTok record? Please give me the fucking TikTok hit. I need it. I need it desperately. Like, it was not because my music sounds this way why I blew up on TikTok. It's in spite of. You know, like you said, there is complexity here. It's layered, it's dense, it's hard to swallow. And trying to package these songs into like little 10-second clips is a fucking nightmare. It feels like it's diluting everything. For you to say that it feels like it was designed for TikTok just kind of feels a little disingenuous. Or like ignorant. Maybe you're just like not really aware of the independent music space on that app. The first half of this album is terrible. The horrorcore aesthetic is highly corny there. It's really obnoxious, and overall the second half, which is very solid, saves this from being a pretty bad album in my eyes. Okay, yeah, this is something that fucking peeved me off. People keep referring to this album as horrorcore, and I don't see it at all. I feel like horrorcore, like the very basis of that subgenre, is shock value. Like, the point is the gore, the point is the blood, the point is making you uncomfortable and being edgy. But I feel like the horror aesthetics and imagery on And They Mine for Our Bodies, that's just a vehicle. Like, it's a vessel for the messaging of each song of the album. It's a backdrop, it's a tone, it's a flavor, it's an atmosphere. I don't think that's enough to group that in with fucking like early Hobson or fucking like Goblin era Tyler the Creator. I think like I'm fairly new to this depth of criticism when it comes to my work, because on your social media platforms where you've like cultivated a following, it's just constant praise, right? Like, you can still kind of get an idea of like what people gravitate towards and what they kind of shy away from, but in general it's positive feedback. And then you have the songs that kind of go a little bit viral and kind of escape your bubble, and you know that comes with more praise. But also on the complete other end of the spectrum, you have the fucking sad losers that you know spend their time fucking telling you to kill yourself on Instagram Reels. Yeah, it was just that very unnuanced binary when it came to criticism until this project, where I'm looking at people give very critical, very thoughtful responses to this project, whether it's positive or negative. Even if you fucking hate my music, the layers are there for you to uncover. And I appreciate a critical listening ear, no matter what your conclusion is. I'm Gao the Arsonist. Why do I always do like I'm fucking Mr. Beast? I'm Gao the Arsonist. This is I Don't Know But I'm Trying. And our bones are artifacts and they mine for our bodies.